Let's get cracking up this hill here. Well, not that one, that one, no. This one here is a bit of a brow. There's a brow, and beyond there is a rather pointy hill which has got some of the best views in the UK. Scur and Fiddler looks out over Assynt, Stackpolly, Sullivan, Culmore, all those mountains. If you remember yesterday, well, not yesterday, it was yesterday actually, my last video, I started to do the NC500 with Lisa, my wife, and Monty. And at the end of that first day, we got some pretty bad news, and Lisa's had to head off back home pretty quick smartest. So I've just dropped her off at Inverness airport, no, not airport, train station. She didn't have her driving license or passport with her, for obvious reasons, so she couldn't fly, so she had to get a train. And having driven around for 3 days, I really need to stretch my legs before I do an epic drive back. We'll have to leave the NC500 for another time. So we're gonna hop up this hill, Monty and I. We're going to hope for some late evening light. It's pretty windy, you can probably tell, and there's still this haze around, which has kind of been blotting out sunset for a good couple of weeks now, it seems. It's changing. The wind direction has changed from the east to the southwest. It's 20 degrees, if you can believe that. And that haze, I think, looks like it's just thinning out a little bit. So maybe we'll get some of that lovely golden light. Anyway, time to crack on up the hill, and hopefully we will get some boom. Oh, it's Monty. The thing with Scur and Fiddler is, well, there's two things, and I'm probably in silhouette right now because the sun's kind of over here. You don't really get much of a view on the way up. You get the Summer Isles, which are quite nice, and Anchalak is over in the distance there, but you're effectively, you know, just looking at the side of a blank hill. And it's not until you reach the summit that you get the full majesty of the view before you. But before I show you that, the reason why Monty is attached down there, I've got him tied to a rock. I've got his little fleece on, and it's quite warm, but he will cool off pretty quickly because I don't want him running around. And the reason for that is if he sees a bird or catches scent of a deer or something like that, he is likely to run off the edge of the sheer cliff on both sides. 500 meters straight down, no coming back from that one. And you know, he's a bit of a mountain dog, but to be honest, we did the blanket test on him. Have you ever seen the blanket test? You can tell the intelligence of a dog if you throw a blanket over it, and an intelligent dog will try and get out, whereas a not so intelligent dog will just sort of sit there and then eventually go to sleep. And we did that, and that's exactly what he did. So he's a little bit silly, a little bit thick, we think. Might explain why he still hasn't got a clear round in agility. Anyway, enough of that. The reason why we're here is this. Oh, what a view! That is absolutely stunning. It doesn't get any better than this. No, seriously, it really doesn't. I can't think of a single view in the British Isles that beats this particular one. It just absolutely takes your breath away. And unfortunately, you know, conditions aren't the best they could be. You may have seen images from this location of fantastic storm light and rainbows and big hail showers, and it covered in snow and all of that kind of stuff. And you know, this place works in virtually any condition. It really does. And I'm almost lost for words, really. What's going to happen is this cloud coming in, and you know, I've got a good 45 minutes of light on these mountains at least. It might come back, it might not, but I'm going to start shooting even though we're not in the golden hour. That's absolutely fine. I'm going to wait for the edge of light. So let me explain the concept of the edge of light. So if you're shooting during the day, you know, not at sunrise, not at sunset, the best time, this is when I like to take photos, is at the edge of light. And what I mean by that is when a cloud passes in front of the sun and just the edge of the cloud just starts to diffuse the light, that's the moment, those 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds where you take your shot, because it just takes the edge off the harshness of the light. And it's the light's not actually that harsh at the minute. It's not as harsh as it would be if it had been a couple of hours ago, but it is rather nice. And in fact, I could probably get away with it, but I'll just wait for a little bit of a cloud just to come across and just soften the light a little bit on these rocks here. I need to find myself a nice foreground, and then it's just the majesty of the view. Unbelievable. Just so you know, all right, so I'm on Sgurr Nao Fiddler. This one here, this little one in the kind of mid ground is Stack Polly, and the back there, the one which is kind of like that, and there's got looks a bit like a truck, is Sullivan, and then Cool Moor and Cool Beg, I think it's around the corner, Beg. Moor, and then right in the distance behind Sullivan is Cynag. I've got no idea whether I pronounced those correctly, but even so, I don't care. And there's some really nice sort of detail shots to be had down here. Anyway, that's enough of me jabbering on. It's time to take some photos. Okay, I've had a good rummage around. This is the best composition I've found so far. There we go. Portrait, as you would guess. Shooting with the tilt shift, with the 1.4 times extender on there to take the effective full frame focal length to roughly 35 millimeters. But what I've basically got is stack poly, Sylvan, Colmore, and then I've got these nicely arranged, which it's presented to you that way. You can't really bugger it up when you're up here unless you half a mile that way or half a mile that way. But so it's all just about finding a really nice foreground. And I've got these nice rocks here. I did go to the top, but I wasn't really fancying anything at the top. It's actually slightly better down here, about 30 meters below the actual summit. So I'll show you this. Here we have my image all in focus. Got these nice rocks creating a nice leading line into the 3 peaks at the back, and then this is going to be a 5.4, and when I'm shooting with the tilt shift, I always compose for the top and the bottom, and then use the shift function like so, to create a perfect panorama, which will then be stitched in Lightroom and will eventually end up as a 5.4 portrait shot. Light is just starting to become quite nice, actually. It's creating some nice shadow on the top of stack poly over there. And I think I'm going to get a little bit lucky. That haze isn't going to interfere with anything till about 45 minutes before actual sunset. So I should get a good sort of 15-20 minutes of really cracking golden hour light before it starts to get snuffed out. So fingers crossed. I'm going to go and have a little hunt around for some more composition, so that when the time comes, I can go straight to them. I know exactly what I'm doing, and what images I am looking to get without wasting any time. So there we go. Fancy a time lapse?